Hi, so my name is Suzanne and I'm a clinical psychologist from Oasis Place. So today I'll be talking more about the transition from preschool to elementary school for children with special needs. As a psychologist, a big part of what I do is to conduct formal assessment for children from preschool all the way to secondary school. So today I'll spend a bit more time to discuss the importance of assessment for this transition period. All right. So why assessment is important is because it can actually help parents and teachers to have a better understanding of the child's school readiness. So going from preschool to elementary school, there's actually a big leap for the children, and there's a lot of things that they need to adapt. For example, children going to elementary school would need to start sitting more on their desks during lesson time, and a lot of their a lot of their lessons or tasks will be more on academic based rather than play based as compared to when they're in preschool. So the assessment would be able to help teachers and also parents to really understand the child's strengths and weaknesses, both academically and also behaviorally, so that to really see if they are able to adapt in that more structured kind of learning environment. So secondly, a formal assessment would be able to help parents determine what school would be most suitable for their child, right? So for example, the results from the assessment will be able to help parents to decide whether sending their child to a public school would be most suitable or sending them to a private school with a smaller class size would be best, right? And lastly, I feel that an assessment would be able to help teachers to provide the best support for the student in class, right? So usually after an assessment, a report will be churned out with the results, right? And the parents can actually bring this report to the teachers. And from the report, the teachers would then be able to come up with what we call an IEP, which is an individualized educational program for the child. Okay, so an IEP is actually a specially designed support plan for a child with special needs that really lists down the goals that the school would like to work with the child throughout the year or even in a school term, and also some of the extra support that the school is providing to the child in the classroom setting, right? So usually the IEP is a collaborative effort between teachers and also parents. So if parents would like to understand a bit better about what IEP is or whether their child can get access to the IEP, feel free to talk to key teachers in your school to find out a bit more. Now, apart from the three reasons I mentioned earlier about the importance of doing psychoeducational assessment, I also like to share a list here that further talks about other reasons why parents would consider doing a formal assessment for their child, right? So some of the reasons include determining a diagnosis for your child, or even to look at whether they are eligible to get exam access for their examination time, or to enter a literacy uh, reading program that their schools are providing, right? So hopefully that this list is helpful for parents to better understand the importance of psychoeducational assessment. Now, going to elementary school can be a very daunting experience for a lot of children because of the uncertainty of that new environment. So I'm going to share some tips in this video to make that initial first step a more smoother one for the child, right? Now, the first two that I'm going to introduce is actually called social stories. Okay, so a social story is actually a simple story using pictures and also simple scripts that explains a social situation to a child, and also what are some of the behaviors that is expected in those situations. Right? So parents can actually create your own social story about going into elementary school, or you can even find some ready-made ones online on Google, um, and you can read it to your child to help them have that readiness, right? Help them ease into that transition to a new setting. All right. So, in fact, social stories can be used in various transitions in life. Right? So, for example, the current COVID-19 situation has caused a lot of changes in us, and parents can definitely use social story to explain to the child why is there such changes. Right? So, I'm going to share a social story with parents today of how it can look like. So, if you look here, this social story is mainly about why children can't go out during the COVID-19 pandemic situation or during the lockdown. And this simple social story helps explain to children what is happening around us. Right? So, as you can see, using simple pictures and a simple script in the first person kind of view to help children understand why they need to stay home and why they can't actually go out at this moment to schools or to places that they love to visit previously. So if parents are interested to download this particular social story, so feel free to visit our Oasis Place website. It's free for download and you can find it on the resources tab on our website. Right? So I'm going to stop sharing that for now. Apart from using social story, another good way to ease children in that transition to elementary school is actually to organize a brief school orientation for them, right? So to bring them for school tours, to introduce the different school infrastructure, or even to have a meet and greet with the teachers would be able to help children adapt better when they are going to school later on. Right? And this can be easily organized with the teachers or the administrator of the school, right? And lastly, I would say because of the COVID pandemic, wearing masks outside from the house or when going to school is very important for children, for all students, in fact. So, but sometimes this can be difficult. So mask wearing can be difficult for children with special needs because of some sensory challenges that they may have. Yeah. So I would really urge parents to model mask wearing for your child and do a lot of practice trial with them at home before they begin school, so that they are familiar with how to put on the mask and also how to take it off. Now, apart from the initial transition period, I also like to talk about other tools that can actually help with the changes that happens every day in the classroom as well for children with special needs, right? So the first tool that I like to talk about is called a visual schedule, right? So a visual schedule is something like this, right? So just using simple pictures and arrange them in a sequence to help children understand what are some of the activities that they have for the day in the classroom. And it's also a good tool to actually break down the task for the child so that it's not too overwhelming when they are tackling the tasks in the classroom, right? So apart from using visual schedule in school, parents can also use it at home when the children are doing some online learning, online classes as well. So it does give a better structure for your child to help them understand what are the times that they need to do learning, and also what are the times that they can actually do, they can actually play, or they can actually rest in the home setting, right? Because usually at home is less structured as compared to when they are in school, right? And the last tool that I'd like to talk about is a calming corner, right? So a calming corner is actually a safe place for the child to go to when they feel like their emotions are running high and they needed some time and some place or some space to actually regulate back their emotions before they join back to the rest of the class, right? So teachers can set up a calming corner easily at the corner of their classroom, or even at a special room outside of the class. All right. Um, the same goes for parents as well. Parents can actually set it up in the study area, at the side of the study area, or at the living room, depending on your house setup. Right. So a calming corner is not the place where you send the child when you're punishing them or when you're giving them time out. It's really a place that they learn how to regulate their emotions. So try to set it up as a place where it's chill and relaxing for the child. So you can actually put bean bags or even cushions in the calming corner, and you can also include activities that are calming for the child, such as coloring or even puzzles. You can also incorporate uh, some sensory toys like stress balls or some fidget toys like this one in the calming corner to help your child. So before expecting your child to use it on their own, try to introduce the calming corner to them first. Introduce what are the tools that are available to them so that they know how to use it. Right? So I want to share a few pictures about what a calming corner looks like. So this is a simple calming corner that can be set up in the classroom. Right? So with comfortable cushions, some activities or tools that children can use to calm themselves down, and also some visual aids to help the children determine how are they feeling at the moment. Right? So I hope the pictures are helpful in giving parents and teachers some ideas on how to set up a calming corner. Right? Um, and if parents and teachers would like to have more understanding or have more information about how to set up a calming corner at their own classroom or at their own house, feel free to visit our Oasis website under the resources tab as well. We do have a pamphlet that briefly talks about how parents or teachers can easily set this up. All right. So we have come to the end of our video today, right? And I hope that the information I shared has been helpful for both parents and teachers. All right. So that's all for me today, and I want to thank you everyone for tuning in. Bye.